beautiful Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Brother Jonas, and the title of this video is Ezekiel Chapter 23, Aholah and Aholibah, the two whores. There are a number of whores spoken of in the Bible, and these whores are meant to make a clear point to our people of ancient times, middle times, and present time, especially to our women. These scriptures never get old or tired because, as a people, we don't seem to change, even after 2,700 years. We are still whoring against the Most High, and against ourselves, and against our nation. In wide awake knowledge of who we are, and in a deep ignorance of not knowing who we are. And the end result will be destruction, death, judgment, and eternal death, and torment in the lake of fire, pain on top of thirst. The two whores in Ezekiel chapter 23 represent northern kingdom, Israel, and southern kingdom, Judah. This whole chapter is a metaphor or an analogy of the split kingdom of Israel after the death of King Solomon during the reign of kings that followed him, including the first king to follow him, his son Rehoboam. The prophet Hosea also prophesied about northern kingdom Israel and southern kingdom Judah, and a whore, a real whore, that the Most High told Hosea the prophet to marry, was involved in those prophecies. Read those scriptures in Hosea chapter 1, verse 1 through 11, and see my video, Northern Kingdom Israelites Became Gentiles During Hosea. This is more detailed of the Northern Kingdom becoming the Gentiles that you read about in Paul's writings. The whole idea is to get us to take a look inward at ourselves and realize just how much we offended and are offending the Most High, and repent so we won't have to die eternally and will be able to enjoy all the goodness that he has planned for us. But hey, if you think this world is good and can't see past the filth, then keep doing what you're doing and we'll see how that works out for you. Now let's get our understanding on Ezekiel chapter 23. Listen carefully, ladies. Ezekiel 23, verse 1. The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother. Who is this mother? The mother is Jerusalem or Israel. Verse 3. And they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. There were their breasts pressed, and there they bruised the teats of their virginity. We see instantly that these are not real women. We know this because it says they committed whoredoms in Egypt. This is talking about when Israel was in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. We were in our youth as a nation of people when we were in Egypt. There were their breasts pressed, and there they bruised the teats of their virginity. As a young virgin might squeeze her breast and rub her nipples, teats mean nipple. Their mind is on sex or doing something they shouldn't be doing. Verse 4. And the names of them were Aholah, the elder, and Aholibah, her sister. And they were mine, and they bare sons and daughters. Thus were their names. Samaria is Aholah, and Jerusalem Aholibah. You see here, the Most High further shows you that these are not real women, but they represent his people. He says their names are Aholah, which is symbolic of Samaria, which is northern kingdom Israel, and Aholibah, which is symbolic of Judah, which is southern kingdom Judah. These names sound like a whore. This is by design. The elder was Aholah, which is northern kingdom, because they went into whoredom first and went into captivity first. The youngest was called Aholibah, which is southern kingdom Judah, that went a whoring later and went into captivity later. Remember, the Most High said they were his. So, you know this is about the nation of Israel and not two real women. The message in this chapter is strongly for the women of our nation and for us men too to learn from. Verse 5, and Aholah played the harlot when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians her neighbors, which were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses. And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine. Northern kingdom, which belongs to the Most High, went lusting and whoring after Assyria. This is not just sex, but also wanting all the wicked ways of that wicked nation. It says she doted on her lovers, meaning northern kingdom was extremely fond. Doted means extremely fond of the Assyrians and didn't care about their ways or what they were doing. And all these things were an abomination to our ways. Verse 7, thus she committed her whoredoms with them, with all them that were the chosen men of Assyria, and with all on whom she doted. With all their idols she defiled herself. Basically, we got with them because they were decked out in their clothes and had position, money, and power. Does this sound familiar today? Yeah, it do. You know how we roll. We see something that look good, we want to go after it, not thinking about the consequences of our actions. Verse 8, neither left she her whoredoms brought from Egypt, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and poured their whoredom upon her. Even when we were in the land of Egypt, we were whoring. The Most High had to bring us out because we were sinking to a very low estate, and Egypt was doing all they could to morally corrupt us as a people. They knew about Yahweh and that we were his people because of Joseph. They wanted to keep us down on the bottom. They wanted to restrict our numbers so that they would lose their fear of us rising up against them. But the Most High knew he had to bring us out, and that's what he did. And when we came out, we brought the filth of our ways and the filth of the Egyptian ways with us. I mean, it makes me laugh sometimes when I think about it, because we as a people today just can't seem to see what the nations are doing to us. We won't break that yoke that they have on us. Verse 9. Wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, upon whom she doted. Because we wanted the filth of the world, just like we do now, the Assyrian, the Most High delivered our people into the hand of our lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, because we were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over them. That's right. They were like a sweet bowl of cereal to us. That's how many of you feel about America today, and are too blind to see the wicked side of this country. Verse 10, these discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters and slew her with the sword, and she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. Once Assyria saw that northern kingdom was fully corrupt, they turned their hatred toward them because they knew the Most High would not fight for us. As a matter of fact, the Most High sent them to punish us for our transgressions and whoredoms against him. Nothing happens unless the Most High allows it to happen, and he actually brought that on us. Verse 11, and when her sister Aholibah saw this, speaking of southern kingdom Judah, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, We did it better than Northern Kingdom. And in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. She doted upon the Assyrians, her neighbors, captains and rulers clothed most gorgeously, horsemen riding upon horses, all of them desirable young men. And when her sister Aholibah saw this, talking about southern kingdom Judah, Judah was more corrupt in her inordinate love than northern kingdom, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. You know how we Negroes or Jakes do. We're going to try and outdo others in everything we do, except in righteousness. Verse 13. Then I saw that she was defiled, that they took both one way, and that she increased her whoredoms. For when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, the images of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion, their clothes were a particular color of red. Vermilion is a particular color of red. Verse 15. Girded with girdles upon their loins, exceeding in dyed attire upon their heads. So they had headdresses with different colors wrapped all around. I guess looking pretty good to them. All of them princesses to look to, after the manner of the Babylonians of Chaldea, the land of their nativity. Verse 16. And as soon as she saw them with her eyes, she doted upon them, and sent messengers unto them in Chaldea. It don't take much to get us going in the wrong direction. We are quick to lust after something or someone we see. Verse 17. And the Babylonians came to her in the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredom, and she was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from them. We desire the worthlessness of the Babylonians over the true wealth and love of the Most High. Unbelievable. We are a people lacking good judgment. Verse 18. So she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. This is the Most High telling you that he alienated his mind from southern kingdom Judah, just like he did her sister northern kingdom Israel. Once the southern kingdom Judah went so deep in their sins against the Most High, he turned his back on them, like he did with her sister northern kingdom. Verse 19. Yet she multiplied her whoredoms in calling to remembrance the days of her youth, wherein she had played the harlot in the land of Egypt. For she doted upon their paramours, whose flesh is as the flesh of asses, and whose issue is like the issue of horses. I know some of y'all need some explaining for this. For she doted upon the paramours. Paramours mean lover, whose flesh is as the flesh of asses, meaning they were well hung like an ass. They had large wankers. Whose issue is like the issue of horses, meaning their ejaculation was much. From Israel's youth, the women went after other men, and it is the same sinful issues we have today. Verse 21. Thus thou callest to remembrance the lewdness of thy youth, in bruising the teats, or nipples, by the Egyptians for the paps, which also means nipples, of thy youth. During our time in Egypt, the women were very lewd, rubbing the nipples in front of the Egyptians to entice them. Hot young mamas, you've seen it today. You see it all the time today. Verse 22. There, O Aholibah, thus saith the Lord Almighty, behold, I will raise up thy lovers against thee, from whom thy mind is alienated, and I will bring them against thee on every side. Now, the Most High is telling Aholibah, southern kingdom Judah, that he will cause the Babylonians to come against them from all directions. And they did. Israel got surrounded. Israel was in a siege. Israel was starved. Verse 23. The Babylonians and all the Chaldeans, Pekod, and Shoah and Koah, and all the Assyrians with them, all of them desirable young men, captains and rulers, great lords and renowned, all of them riding upon horses. And they shall come against thee with chariots, wagons, and wheels, and with an assembly of people, which shall set against thee buckler and shield and helmet round about. And I will set judgment before them, and they shall judge thee according to their judgments. And I will set my jealousy against thee, and they shall deal furiously with thee. They shall take away thy nose and thy ears, and thy remnant shall fall by the sword. They shall take thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by fire. So, this is when the Babylonians came and surrounded Israel and destroyed us in a way never before seen. Judah's first big captivity. Verse 26. They shall also strip thee out of thy clothes, and take away thy fair jewels. Now, many of you have seen videos and TV shows, movies, whatever, about the Israelites, those white folks over there that are pretending to be us. And whenever you see them, you ever notice how they're always in rags? They look like pitiful people. Well, we were never dressed like that. We had the finest clothes in the world. The Most High had us decked out better than any nation in the world. As a matter of fact, other nations emulated us. When you look at the ancient Chinese and Japanese and their fine robes and clothes, they got that from us. That's right, brothers and sisters. We were the best dressed. We didn't look like them ragamugs over there you see today on these TV shows. The Babylonians would strip us of our clothes and take away all of our jewels. The same thing happened in Africa when they took us to America on ships in slavery. The slave conditions on ships were very bad. It would have been much worse with clothing on. So they took our clothes off, packed us in those ships like sardines, and we pissed and crapped on each other for months during that journey. So when we stepped off the boat in this new land called America and people saw us, they called us savages. We didn't speak the language. We didn't have clothes. I'm sure our hair was a mess. So they thought we were savages. So you see, people misconstrued who we were. And that was also by design. Some knew that we were Israelites, but most did not know. Verse 27. Thus will I make thy lewdness to cease from thee, and thy whoredom brought from the land of Egypt, so that thou shalt not lift up thy eyes unto them, nor remember Egypt any more. The Most High intended on breaking us, and he did. For 70 years we would be in captivity, and we were. Verse 28. For thus saith the Lord Almighty, Behold, I will deliver thee into the hand of them whom thou hatest, into the hand of them from whom thy mind is alienated. And they shall deal with thee hatefully, and shall take away all thy labor, and shall leave thee naked and bare. And the nakedness of thy whoredoms shall be discovered, both thy lewdness and thy whoredoms. All of our labors, things we built and grew, they took away from us for themselves. It is hard to see why we can't serve the Most High. Hard to see why we can't serve him. It's easy to serve him and enjoy the good things of life that he has for us. But rather serve him, we want to serve our enemies and enjoy the bad things of life. The food sucks today. And we want to stay here in this world, in this country, and eat this garbage and put up with this mess. Unbelievable. The Most High dealt with us with love. Our enemies dealt with us with hatred, envy, and anger. And we getting a bowl full of it today. It's like we lust after the other nations. Then they are good to us. Everything's good. And then we end up on the bottom, kicked to the curb. All right. Verse 30. I will do these things unto thee because thou hast gone a-whoring after the heathen, because thou art polluted with their idols. The Most High said he would do these things to us because we went whoring after the heathen and because we polluted ourselves with their idols. And we still do. We go after everything under the sun and we lift those things up and make them more important than the Most High. Those are idols. No matter what it is, if you put something before the Most High, before his word, they become idols. You're false gods. Verse 31. Thou hast walked in the way of thy sister, therefore will I give her cup into thy hand. After seeing the wickedness of northern kingdom, Judah sat back and watched northern kingdom go through all the stuff they went through and go into captivity. After being starved, killed, beaten, whatever, they saw it all. And then we did the same thing. Judah did the same thing, not learning anything, and the Most High gave us the same cup that northern kingdom drank of. Verse 32. Thus saith the Lord Almighty, thou shalt drink of thy sister's cup, deep and large. Thou shalt be laughed to scorn and had in derision. It containeth much. Thou shalt be filled with drunkenness and sorrow, with the cup of astonishment and desolation, with the cup of thy sister Samaria. Thou shalt even drink it and suck it out, and thou shalt break the sherds thereof, and pluck off thy own breast, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord Almighty. The other nations do everything in their power to bring us down. They are friends with us until we fall. When we fall, they then laugh because they know we had the real true God. Then we become astonished at our low position among the nations. Then all of a sudden we want to cry out to God. Oh, help us. Why is it we wait until we're in a bad situation to want to cry out to God? We should be crying out to God when we're feeling good, doing well, and everything is rolling smooth in our lives. We should be crying out to God then, because we need to realize that what we have in this present world is strictly garbage. We should be crying out to him to take us home, to end this world and get the next world started. That's where the real party at, y'all. Verse 35. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Almighty, because thou hast forgotten me and cast me behind thy back, therefore bear thou also thy lewdness and thy whoredoms. The Most High said, because we have forgotten him and cast him behind our back, he tells us to bear our lewdness and our whoredoms. That is what we also are seeing today. You can see the lewdness and whoredoms of our people everywhere you go. Go to the grocery store, it's in there. Go to the bank, it's in there. Go shopping, you see it in there. The ridiculous, whorish clothes that our women wear. And the mothers let their young daughters wear it too. It's unbelievable. And the men walking around with their pants hanging all off their butt like a jailhouse whore. Verse 36. Yahweh said moreover unto me, Son of man, wilt thou judge Aholah and Aholibah? Yeah, declare unto them their abominations. Now, you know, people say, you can't judge me. But the Bible tells us to judge people according to the righteousness of the Bible. The Most High told Ezekiel to declare to Israel their abominations. Ezekiel was judging his people according to the righteousness of the Most High's word. So yeah, we can judge people. But we also need to remember too that we who claim to be righteous were just like them. We were doing some of the same wicked stuff they do. And we need to understand that they can change. So we need to keep that in mind when we're also judging other people. And remember not to be a hypocrite, because even though we claim to be righteous and we are more perfect than others, we too still sin. Verse 37. that they have committed adultery, and blood is in their hands, and with their idols have they committed adultery. So you see, with the idols, we committed adultery. With the things we put before the Most High, before his word, we commit adultery. It's like cheating on a spouse. And have also caused their sons, whom they bear unto me, to pass from them through the fire, to devour them. Now, some of y'all may not know this, but we were sacrificing kids to false gods. They take their babies and put them in the fire. Now, we were committing many sins that blood sacrifice could not cover, worshiping idols of wood and stone, committing adultery against the Most High, and sacrificing our children in the fire to false gods. The sin of fornication and adultery today is causing women to sacrifice their children in abortion clinics. It's the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun, just different ways of doing it under the sun. Verse 38. Moreover, this they have done unto me. They have defiled my sanctuary in the same day, and have profaned my Sabbaths. The depths of our sins against the Most High we cannot measure today. We also profaned his Sabbaths by not keeping them in doing what we should do on the Sabbaths. We defiled his sanctuary, which is our body today, and give no second thought to it. Can you believe these folks? They would go past their kids into the fire, burn them up, kill them, and then go in God's sanctuary into his temple like nothing happened. You can't make this stuff up. Verse 39. For when they had slain their children to their idols, then they came the same day into my sanctuary to profane it. And lo, thus have they done in the midst of my house. The gall that our people had to sacrifice their children to idols, and then on the same day go into the Most High sanctuary as if nothing happened. Hey, that was a nice little sacrifice we had last night, sacrificing it to the devil over there, wasn't it? Yeah, everything looks pretty good in the sanctuary today. You see, something similar to that today. People go out and commit great sins Friday night, and then go sit up in a church Saturday, which is the Sabbath, giving no thought to their past wickedness. I can't understand. I can't understand the thought of people. Now, like I said, we were just like them. We did some of the same stuff, but we repented. And that is what our people need to do. Repent and turn to the Most High. Verse 40. And furthermore, that ye have sent for men to come from far, unto whom a messenger was sent. And lo, they came, for whom thou didst wash thyself, paintest thy eyes, and deckest thyself with ornaments, and sattest upon a stately bed, and a table prepared before it, whereupon thou hast set my incense and my oil. And a voice of a multitude being at ease was with her, and with the men of the common sort were brought Sabians from the wilderness, which put bracelets upon their hands and beautiful crowns upon their heads. When trouble arrived, our people sought other nations and not God. They lusted after the nations and not after God. They turned their face to other nations and turned their backs to God. They forgot the Most High, and the Most High forgot them. Verse 43. Then said I unto her that was old in adulteries, will they now commit whoredoms with her, and she with them? The Most High is asking a question. The nations that are old in adulteries, will they now commit whoredoms with her, and she with them? Verse 44. Yet they went in unto her as they go in unto a woman that playeth the harlot. So went they in unto Aholah and unto Aholibah, the lewd women, which is Israel. So the nations that were old in adulteries went in unto Aholah and Aholibah, the lewd women, the nation of Israel. Verse 45. And the righteous men, they shall judge them after the manner of adulteresses. Here come the rocks. And after the manner of women that shed blood, because they are adulteresses, and blood is in their hands. So with the sins that northern kingdom, Aholah, and southern kingdom, Aholibah, committed, there are sins that require death. So the Most High will kill them and remove them from the land, because you have to remove sin from the land. Verse 46. For thus saith the Lord Almighty, I will bring up a company upon them, and will give them to be removed and spoiled. And the company shall stone them with stones, and dispatch them with their swords. They shall slay their sons and their daughters, and burn up their houses with fire. So the Most High caused the punishment to come up on Israel, both Aholah, northern kingdom, and Aholibah, southern kingdom. Verse 48. Thus will I cause lewdness to cease out of the land, that all women may be taught not to do after your lewdness. That all women may be taught not to do after your lewdness. So the main idea of this chapter is to teach women not to do as the women of the days of old. This is a lesson, ladies, that you should pay close attention to. Everybody lusts, but you need to control your lust and not act out on your lust. Verse 49. And they shall recompense your lewdness upon you, and ye shall bear the sins of your idols, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Almighty. It can be a good thing to know that the Most High is the Lord Almighty, and it could be a bad thing to know that the Yahweh is the Lord Almighty. You need to keep that in mind. So the main idea of this chapter is to teach women not to do as the women of the days of old. When you look at our women that were around during the 50s and 60s, you see today that they are off the chain. The women today cannot compare to those women of the 50s and 60s. We dress respectably in most cases. Now, we still had some hoochies back then, but for the most part, as a people, we were respectable. The same wicked women that lived in the time past, ancient days, are living today and have not learned anything and don't want to learn anything and will pay for their poor judgment, because the Most High said, they shall recompense your lewdness upon you, and ye shall bear the sins of your idols, meaning all the unrighteous things you've lusted after, and ye shall know that he is the Lord Almighty. Peace is real. TikTok.